accept the fact that the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions. What it means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff. Fire, brimstone, rivers, seas, oil, human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's terrible.
Well, listen, I have no clue of where I should start. Probably where I should start is the fact that, you have a mayor. Do you guys have a mayor? You have a mayor, right? I guess every city has a mayor. And they have mayors. Listen, has your mayor done the things that Mayor Stoner, might as well be a stoner. Listen, has your mayor done the things that Mayor Stonier has had? Anyways, the reason why I'm asking is because a while back, what happened was the mayor did one thing. He said, hey, listen, you know what? Here's a good idea. And you know what? It is a decent idea. It's decent. It's decent. It's still a little bit creepy. And the reason why I say it's a little bit creepy is because it's going to be abused. Well, in that case, it has. Now, so a couple of months back, a while back, went on record and saying, hey, listen, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put some cameras up by the school zones, right? So the school zones got to have cameras there. Why? It's because people are driving like a bat out of hell. The people are speeding around, and we have the blinking lights. You should only be going about 25 miles an hour, maybe even less. So, but you should be taking your time. But here's what happens. The mayor sits there and says, hey, you know what? Here's what's going to go down. We're going to put cameras up in the school systems, right around the schools, and they're only going to be turned on during school hours. Well, as you can imagine, that is all bunk. Yeah, no. So it's right. No, we've actually had someone come and make the announcement and tell everybody that here are the facts. Those facts are those cameras are not only on during school hours; they are on all of the time. So. Oh, listen, Kalex. See, listen, we have people already joining into the conversation. Kalex over here. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We also have the Sam Cam going on. Zero asked what song name. I'm not sure what song you're talking about. Is it the bumper music? Because the crew made that themselves. So there's the bumper music. The song intro is Unicorn by Robots with Ray Guns. Robots with Ray Guns. That is because I am a real unicorn, the only real media puppet, doing what I was born to do. I was born to do a show on Saturday morning, and you were born to listen and remember about the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning. Kalex is saying that he got a speeding ticket in a school zone, and he said he thought it was Saturday. He thought it might have been Saturday, because here's what's happening. Mayor Stone something. Anyways, so they have the cameras on the whole time. Mike D for RVA. That's right, Mike D for RVA. Mike Dickinson, friend of old Uncle Jeff. Uncle Jeff does a show, WRVA 3 to 6. Yeah. Why? Listen, I know that you guys behind the glass have some kind of hand in that too. Well, I don't. I mean, just think of how many more awards if I was a part of the show it would be. No. Listen. I cast a very big shadow, and I don't want old Uncle Jeff to get lost in the shadow. No. Listen, it's a big puppet shadow, and don't want anybody to get lost in that. So now here's an interesting thing. It is, of course, 10 o'clock, the 10 o'clock toy hour. Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet? Because if you haven't, one of the things you should do is you should go over to ramentoy.com. That's ramentoy.com. The reason why is because they have a whole bunch of things going on. They have all kinds of fun stuff that are happening over at Ramen Toy. And, they actually got the hats in. for Christmas. Now, I don't have my hat with me. You know, I have my Marshall over there. I think they still have a few Marshalls left. But there's the Marshall and the antagonist scientist. You know what that's from, right? The Centurions, old Doc Terror. The old tip of the cap. You know, probably one of my favorite toys from the 1980s is the Doc Terror from the Centurions. So I'm just excited that Ramen Toy is doing what they were born to do as well, set the standard and raise the bar. So go to ramentoy.com and then you'll be able to get a whole bunch of fun stuff. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it before Christmas. You know, they do have to ship some of this stuff across the pond. So, but you could at least do that. Hello, Mao the Scarecrow. Is it Mao? Mayu. Is it Mayu or Mao the Scarecrow? I'm just talking. I'm talking because there are people that are joining. Are you guys joining into the chat and the conversation? The conversation is going on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Facebook, YouTube, and X, and at Sam Newsman on Instagram. We do have the Sam Cams live up and running here, broadcasting live from the Overcast campus here at the University of Richmond. You're listening to WDCE 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for joining in the show. And, so I was talking about Mike D4RVA. You should be following that on Twitter. X. Mike D4RVA. That was the reason how I heard about it. Well, no, let me take that back. I heard about it from old Uncle Dan. Uncle Dan does the Richmond's Morning News Show. So shout out, tip of the cap to Uncle Dan, and sending this over. He sat there and said, "Hey, Sam, look at this." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to tack that right out." Because here we have a mayor who sits there and says, "I'm not going to do something. And this is what I'm going to do." It reminds me of old Uncle Joe saying, "Hey, I'm not going to pardon my son, and I'm going to pardon my son." Is it always just the blue team that does this? Because I have no loyalties. I don't. Well, I'm not voting. Listen, how could you trust me, the most trusted puppet in media, if I was voting? I can't be objective if I'm voting. If I'm voting, I'm no different than all of the hacks in the mainstream media to begin with. How would I sit there and be able to tell you every Saturday morning that I'm the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, if I'm sitting there and punching the ballot box for a red teamer or a blue teamer? What kind of Merry Christmas is that? He's like, "Oh, well, you know what? I love listening to Sam, but, he's such a red party hack. He's such a blue team simp." No. Not doing any of that. Now, listen, I am going to troll everyone equally, specifically during the holiday season. But I'm just going to tell you right now that it's all bunk, because here you have Mayor Stonery. Anyways, we have the mayor who, he's running for lieutenant governor, right? He's running for a lieutenant governor. And what does he have to run on? Hey, listen, I'm the black mayor that tore down all the Confederate statues. And maybe that's the case, and maybe, hey, you know what? Who's to say that that's probably not a winning campaign slogan? I took them down. I took those losers down. I took Monument Avenue down. Yes, it was one of the only historical landmark roads in the country, and it's called Monument Avenue. And what do? We 86 the monuments like it's ranch dressing at a restaurant. Oh, good grief. Hey, but you know what? That's probably what will happen. Because I do know, I don't know, but I'm thinking that old Uncle John, Uncle John actually hosts a show with old Uncle Dan. Is Uncle Dan and Uncle John every morning? What is it, from 6 to 10? 6 to 9:45 on WRVA. What is it, Uncle Dan, Uncle John? Right. So Uncle John is thinking about saying, "Hey, you know what? Screw this radio stuff. I'm just going to go and run for lieutenant governor myself." So yeah. It would be crazy if if all of a sudden out of nowhere, the Republican wins the governor house The attorney general stays the same. And then out of nowhere, it splits the ticket because the black guy that tore down all the racist statues ends up winning. Oh man, it could happen. It could happen. Listen, I don't know what will happen. Usually, what happens in Virginia is that the Virginia electoral situation is literally a bellwether based off of whatever happened the year before and stuff. So we got to see exactly what's happening. We got to see what's happening over the next couple of months. And I just am glad that you guys are with me as we have a front row seat to see how this all plays out. Because once again, Virginia is the bellwether state after a presidential election. So it'll be very interesting. But the moral of this story is what? You know what that is? Don't speed through a school zone, even on Saturday, because Kalix got a ticket. Kalix got a ticket, and he thought it was Saturday. People are getting tickets, and even though the mayor says we're not going to turn we're not going to turn them on, only in school hours, and whatever, man. Like, that's such a bunch of bunk. Such a bunch of bunk. Anyway, shout out to White Vegeta. I got Cleves in here. I got Price as well over on Instagram. I got a couple of other people that are joining in here to the show as we move along. Now, I do have a few songs that I'm going to play here. It's been a Muppet Vimber, and we already played the Muppet Christmas Carol stuff, but the professor, as the professor usually does, sent me a few different things, some deep cuts. We'll go over those. In fact, you know what? What I was telling you earlier is that usually we have timestamps and we got to do all this other things. We got to go by the clock and everything and all that jazz. But Mixtapes is not going to be here after the show. So you know what that means? Right. We're blowing up the clock. Blowing up the clock here on the 14th day of December in the year 2024. It is 10:33. I'm going to play a few jams, and we're going to come back with the professor here. Now, that is radio only. I have to sit there and say that real quick. It's radio only. Now, there's the video segments that you see here. There's a video over here. There's video over here. There's video segments. So I need you guys to understand how this works. So probably over the next 20, 30 minutes or so, me and the professor will be having a radio-only discussion. Radio only being, well, how do I listen to it, Sam? I'm not close to you in Richmond, Virginia. How do I listen to the radio-only segments? Well, that's a good question. Because if you're just watching me and you're just seeing my beautiful puppet face, then you're really not getting the full show. You're not getting the real show. It's a radio show first. I just happened to turn on the cams just to appease everybody else. Because the fact of the matter is, if you just heard my beautiful puppet voice and you just heard me on the radio and I just kept singing and talking, you would say, hey, I want to hear and see more of that. And you would sit there and say, hey, well, how do you do that? At Sam NewsMan, all over social media. That's how. At Sam NewsMan, all over social media. That's where to find me. Shout out to Matthew. I just saw you that. Price just joined in as well. People are just joining in all of a sudden. But I want to tell all of you guys, make sure you download the Live 365 app. Download the Live 365 app. Search WDCE. You'll be able to listen to the show on the app. Or wait. You can go to WDCE.org. Go to WDCE.org. Go to WDCE.org or WDCE.net. Shout out to ACRI 9076, ACRI. Shout out to Lone Dragon. These people understand that if you go to WDCE.org or WDCE.net, you click on Listen Live, you'll be able to listen to the radio stream of the show. Once again, I'm telling you, all of you, that the key is to be listening to the radio feed throughout the show. And if you do want to say hello and see my beautiful puppet face, that's at Sam Newsman all over social media. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. The professor's going to come in in a few moments. We're going to play some songs here. Professor's going to call in after these songs, and we're going to have a conversation about A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol written by Charles Dickens and several of the different versions of it. And the professor will, of course, educate us like he always does. And tonight we have Saturday night's main event. That's right. WWE is having Saturday night's main event. It's been a long time since they've done this. It's going to be on NBC, and Jesse the Body Ventura is returning as color commentator. So this is very, very exciting. Shout out to J3RS3Y, just joined in. And it's really weird it's kind of odd to say some of these names. But if I can see them, I'm going to try to give them a shout out if they come in. So shout out to you. Happy Saturday morning. Happy Saturday morning to all of you. Yeah, we're going to be going over, of course, Saturday night's main event. We're going to be going over A Christmas Carol. I'm not sure how long the segment will go, but eventually, after that segment is over, we'll reset at the top of the hour or somewhere around there, maybe 10 after the top of the hour, 15 after that. Who knows? Who knows? But we're not in any rush. The reason why we're not in any rush is because Mixtapes is not here, and we're going to continue to set the standard and raise the bar even after noon. So we're going to continue the show past the noon hour. We will. So we're going to continue to just keep on going, and we might end probably about 1 o'clock, maybe 2. But we're going to be. Oh my gosh! Was it Larkin Vane? Good morning from the Aloha State. Listen, we have people that are listening in Hawaii. We have people that are listening on the Pacific Northwest. We have people that are listening in Europe. We have people that are listening in Australia. We have people that are listening in Japan. We have people that are listening in Asia and Singapore and China and all over the place. When I tell you right now, the reason why we are winning awards on Saturday morning is because the people around the world understand that this show right here is the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning.
Sing a Christmas carol, ring and ball.